Well, Buds, if I didn't know better, I think that you and Adam are one and the same person because he's not here tonight and you are.
Never been seen in the same room. It's a simple rotation system. You know, we've got AFL's got 3 weeks of byes at the moment, different team each week, so enjoy yourself next week.
Well, the same 4-part question applies to Wetters in terms of where is he that apply to you, Bud. So, is he A, working hard to grease the wheels of the economy? B, getting ready for Love Comes to Town on Tuesday and Wednesday night? 3, still drinking tea at Tommy Havey's funeral? Or 4, admiring the comeback of Brad Sewell?
Is there an all of the above?
No, that would make it too easy for Nick Hogendijk.
Fair enough.
Well, we've been waiting a couple of weeks now for votes from the Hawthorn Sydney game.
Yes, Grant, I have votes, and you know I'm not a huge fan of doing votes in a loss, but there's a few blokes that were pretty good, and as you boys touched on last week, Burgoyne gets a 5, another ripper game. He is in his best form he's had at Hawthorn for sure, and I assume he was somewhere like this at Port Adelaide, but you know we didn't watch him too close there. I'll get him 4 to Langford. I thought he stepped up when others weren't in the midfield. 3 to McEvoy, who had a decent game, I thought, plenty of the board. 2 to Hallahan, another kid who had a crack in the midfield, and I've snuck Bruce in for 1 for 3 goals. Ruffy maybe might have been on the edge there as well, but you know he only really got into it late. So they're the 5, and they weren't easy to do, but we'll go with that.
Really? Ruffy in just outside the 5?
Yes, that's correct.
If we did the 3 worst votes, and we probably should consider that for a loss, I would have had him in one of those 3 categories.
Yeah, he was very average most of the game, but he did kick 3 goals, and he did sort of step up at the end when we were sort of still half a chance. So if we're doing the worst votes, we know that Mitty's mate, Mr. Stratton, would have taken them all out on his performance on Friday night last week.
But have you found him by any chance?
No idea where he is. He wasn't at Box Hill, so he's obviously still in Hawthorn's team somewhere. But he's better than that, and we know he's a great player, so hopefully he can get his form back, because I don't like bagging out Hawthorn blokes, but he has been missing in action.
Now, Buds, Adam and I recorded earlier in the week, and we made lots of jokes and comments about Josh Gibson, only to find that he'd torn his pec.
Torn his pec and got on a plane and flew to LA and then decided it was still a bit sore and had to come home. Quite disappointing. Look, I don't think the flight's an issue, but disappointing to have another injury of that calibre. And, you know, for the next game, that'll leave us without our full-back, our centre-half back, our full forward and our best midfielder, and our best small forward as well. So it makes it hard. We've been unlucky. We've had a good run the last 2 years. I know we had a few knees last year, but we were able to cover them. We didn't get multiple injuries to the same sort of play, but this year we have. It's going to be hard, but if we can get through this week, the run gets a bit easier and we'll start getting blokes back.
We've got a problem that we can't bring in Spanger this week. He's still a week away.
Yeah, they're saying a week, which, I mean, he didn't play at Box Hill on the weekend, so you wouldn't think they'd rush him back for a game in Adelaide. So, and that's what's hurt us, really, when you think about it. Like, it's one thing to have Lake out, but your next in line, you've had Shuey coming back from injury, Stratton coming back from injury, and Spanger started the year playing real good footy, and now he's injured. So, we're a bit unlucky in that respect. But, look, we should get Spanger back the week after, I'd imagine. That'll help out until Gibbo and Lakey can get into the side again, and you know it's early. It's better to have him now, I guess, if we're going to have him, than to have him in round 16 or 17.
Does Liam Shields come back in this week?
He'll go straight back, I'd imagine. I think he was probably right to go for Box Hill if they wanted him to, but I think they've just decided he's straight back in the team. So we'll get him back, we'll get Hodgie back, and we'll go from there.
Well, Adam ventured down to Punt Road to watch Box Hill Hawks play Richmond and gave him a call, and that by half-time he said he was just tearing up the game and then he was a class above the rest. So you would imagine he comes straight back in as well.
Yeah, I think so. He'll be a godsend too. His attack on the footy and that sort of thing, he'll be good. He'll show the boys how it's done. So potentially that's Hodge, Shields and Sewell back into the team that played Sydney, and that's a big improvement. The downside is that we lose our bookends in Ruffy and Gibber. So luckily Port's forward line's not huge. They've got a couple there. You'd imagine Shuey will get one, and we're probably going to have to go with Cheney on the other. So, but hopefully we can just get our midfield function in, win the ball early and get it into our forward line.
Did they give O'Brien another crack?
He apparently played pretty good footy for Box Hill. Grimley's the other one, and he struggled. Segler apparently was very good. So whether they decide to maybe go with the tall option of bringing Segler in, and that gives us Hale as a permanent forward, maybe. I mean, all three of Hale, McElvoy and Segler are capable of taking a mark forward, so it might be an option for the 1 week while Ruffy's out. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Now, long-term injuries and a long-term injury list means we can elevate a rookie if we put Gibson on it. Would you do it? And who would you bring up?
Well, we've got a spot anyway, because we put Jed Anderson on there a couple of weeks ago. So the spot's available now. They add Gibson to the list, and we could have another one. So I don't think they'll promote anyone unless they're going to play him. I think the one in lines may be Ben Ross. I was talking to him last week, and he mentioned that fitness staff had mentioned to him that the coaches were having a look, and he said he needed a couple of good games at Box Hill. He's had one. He was named in the best on the weekend. He's that ready-made replacement for Mitchell. That's all, a mature body midfielder, flanker. Like, he's obviously not as good as Mitchell, but if he's ever going to play, Clark will want games into him before finals in case, he's got to come in and fill a void at the end of the year. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a promotion and sneaks in for a game. Maybe not this week, but possibly the week after.
I saw a name thrown up for the second spot, Kurt Heatherly. Worth pursuing?
Yeah, I think he's still a bit raw. All he's really got is pure defending at the moment, which could be handy against a big tall, but so much of our game revolves around the use of the ball coming out of the back line, and I think he may still be a bit of a risk in that regard. And the other one's Caden Brand, who's come on in leaps and bounds this year, but probably still not ready either. So, look, the option once Ruffy's back will make it interesting, because we'll have that third option. We've been saying it for years, but maybe potentially throw Ruffy back and then use Tim O'Brien or Grimley or someone like that forward. So, be interesting to see what we do. But, hopefully Lakey's, I think, another 3 weeks away. So after Port, we've got GWS and West Coast down in Tassie. Carlton the week after that. So, this is a week it really matters, which means we'll hurt Ruffy. But I wouldn't be surprised if a few blokes get a run in that GWS and that West Coast game just to see where they're at.
Well, the other one's Derek Wanganeen.
Yeah, he set the world on fire in the pre-season, Derek, and he looked all right in his game and just sort of fell out when the better season blokes come back. And he is still promoted, so he's an opportunity to play as well. And the third one that they may look at probably for the GWS game would be Woodward, who's been playing pretty good footy at Box Hill as well. But it's just a matter of you don't want to take too many in with the changes, but we'll see what they do.
Fair enough. Now, I'm going to just ask one question this week. We didn't go out and ask for any questions. We thought we might make this a nice, short, sharp show. But are the finals wide open this year?
Yeah, look, I was listening to SEN today, and one of the commentators there suggested he thought there was 4 teams and then a fifth one and then daylight after that. But you look at the form of North Melbourne and Gold Coast, they're not without opportunities of winning the final. They probably can't win the grand final, but they're not without opportunity of winning the final. So it keeps it interesting. At the moment, you'd be thinking top 4's probably going to look something like ourselves, Port, Geelong and Freo. I would imagine Freo will start winning enough games, even though they've had a slow start. Collingwood on that next tier, and then, North, Gold Coast, a few teams in the mix. Oh, sorry, Sydney as well. So Sydney will probably pushing the top 4, so Freo may even drop out. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens.
And a second question that I wasn't going to ask, but I will because I've just thought of it, and that is, did the Swans demonstrate the type of game that was perhaps going to bust open our game and maybe that of Geelong's, and that is tall forwards? Are tall forwards back?
The flavour of the month at the moment, I was listening on the radio and they were saying that whose forward line would you rather, and they said they'd rather Sydney's forward line over ours. That's well and good if your tools are firing, but it sort of makes it harder elsewise. We've still got a pretty potent forward line. If you've got Ruffy up there, he's every bit as good a player as Kirk Tippett when he's going. Gunston, Bruce, Rioli, it's a fairly handy forward line. And, it's more than just having the tall forward. So if you look at pure scoring, we've still got these sides covered. Even Sydney didn't kick a huge score against us, even with that forward line. Admittedly, Franklin kicked straight, maybe they do, but we know that he doesn't. So, yeah, look, I think it could worry us because of our setup and maybe a couple other teams, but I don't think it's a be and an end all. Otherwise, sides would be loading up all the time. So we'll see how it works for them. And the other thing is that you're guaranteed at some stage Tippett will probably get injured again and miss a few games.
We hope. Well, we better get into this game, and it's Port Adelaide, Saturday night, 7:10. It's an away game. Lots of outs for us. Bards, legitimately, can we win this game?
I think we can. We're not favourites, which is the first time in a long time, and I think that's fair. Port's form has been exceptional. Really, our form has been bloody good, except for last week. But injuries have hurt us. So I think the key to it is going to be winning the ball in the middle, and as good as Port are in there, they are still kids. So I think if Hodgie can come in, Sewell and Shields, as we said, come in and throw some big bodies on the ball and win the ball from the centre, then that will give us a chance. If they get free run out of the middle and just keep bombing it into their forward, Shields has a knack of getting goals against us and Westhoff. So, yeah, I think we can win it. I'm not confident that we will, just purely because we're having too many bookends out, but I think we're not without hope.
Well, nearest to the pin then, Bards.
4!
Mate, I'll have to obviously play conservative, as otherwise I'll be nowhere near it, so I'm going to go with 12 points.
All right, well, I'm going
4!
1 point.
1 point. They don't give you much options of being the closest,
It might be suggesting that we might win.
Could do. 250. It's not bad odds, mate. I might have a little flutter on them just in case.
Well, on that note, go Hawks.
Go Hawks.